Hey, I'm Rodger Cloud. We're out in South Florida right now, and we caught up with Chain Saint. Ethan was gracious and played some killer guitar for us today. We did some demos with the Cloud mic. We showed different positionings. Position 1, we had the microphone placed about 14 inches from the cone at a slight off-axis angle from the side. And clip number 2, we moved the microphone to about 4 feet from the cone and more in front of it and not off axis, so it was right on axis. And then the third and final clips, we had the microphone placed in a kind of a unique position that I wanted to try, but based on the way this room is here and the way that everything was. So I came down at an off-axis angle from the top of the cabinet, and that way we were able to remove the microphone from the pressure that comes off of the cabinet, but yet still being able to capture the sound that comes off the cabinet. That's sort of the point with the off-axis points of placement with the microphone, so that we can control how much of the sound pressure wave, which has a lot of energy, how much does that actually physically move the ribbon, because our ribbon mics, as you know, are physical elements within a magnetic structure that respond to sound pressure waves. It's truly a pressure gradient microphone, they used to call them. They also used to call them velocity microphones when they were first introduced in the 1930s. And so with the Cloud ribbon, it's important sometimes just to realize that pressure wave is strong, and if you can control how much of the pressure part of the sound wave is going through the ribbon versus by the ribbon, and that's sort of the point with learning off-axis response and utilizing that as your equalizer. Now, that all sounds very technical, but the simple thing that we were doing with the placement is we were essentially using the mic placement as our EQ on the way in before it went in to like determine what the frequency voicing of the sound source was going to capture. This is the Cloud mic, about 14 to 15 inches from the cone at an angle, slightly off axis. This was a great opportunity to move the mic a little bit. We had it pretty close up in here, like this. And if you want to get kind of, you can use this as your EQ. You pull it back a little bit, you're going to get more detail. In this take, we've moved the mic to about maybe 4 feet, 3.5 feet away from the speaker cone. It's more directly on it rather than being off axis. And then we've also added the Cloud Lifter Mini to the Sennheiser 602. And we're gonna grab another ripping guitar from you and see what it sounds like. So this is with the mic coming down from the top of the cab so that the pressure is fully going by, and then angled almost directly up at the ceiling with the back side. We'll give it a shot and see how it sounds. These guys are killer. They're doing great things out there. You can catch them at all the festivals this summer. There's a lot of things coming out with Change Saint. Let's hear from the band. Let's hear from Ethan and the band. And Sean was engineering at the time. So let's hear from the band and hear what their thoughts were on utilizing the Cloud ribbon today for these clips.
I 100% heard a difference with the ribbon. The ribbon's just, it's so much fuller. You can really kind of just hear everything, and it just sounds like a really nice, big, just overall, just thick tone. And 100% for just really anything you're recording, it just makes it big. There's a big jump between the two, especially with the Sennheiser, which is a fantastic mic. But this ribbon definitely just kind of brought us up to a whole different level of recording. When you blend both, it just sounded huge, and I was very surprised because I wasn't sure what to expect at first. But when you blend the two, I mean, it was just something, honestly, I would consider using for an album. Like, it sounded really good, and definitely a great blend between having one on the cone and having the other mic in a different spot, especially with the nature of the ribbon mic. I would definitely, consider using both, and I was definitely very pleasantly surprised. As a guitar player, and I'm sure most guitar players, they're very picky about their tone, and they're, treat it like their own. For me, I like to go classic. I'm just running a JCM 800 with a 1960A Marshall cab, just both Marshall, and it works. And there's a sound that you get from that, and using these mics on it definitely, recording wise, brought it out exactly how I wanted to hear it. Just that classic raw, just chunky tone that everyone really loves, and I love it. And that's my reason behind using this rig. And just running it, just a tube screamer, and for some leads, an EVH Phase 90, and just have my tuner in there. That's all I need. And you throw the mics on there, and it just sounds fantastic.
What I noticed engineering this song, with my best friend, my lovely friend Ethan Kahn here on the guitar, is that this is a very high quality mic, and the lifter that we put on the Sennheiser, first of all, changed the way the waveform looked, changed the quality of that Sennheiser's audio. I mean, it bumped it up 25 dB to the point that I actually was able to turn the gain knob down because I was like almost overloaded with power and overloaded just with like the quality of what that amp sounds like. So in terms of the Cloud Lifter Mini, I mean, it completely changed the sound of the Sennheiser that's on the JCM 800 right now. I mean, we listened to it back to back, one with it and one without it. But what nobody knows is actually the one without it was also bumped up in gain. So that's not even what it originally sounded like. So just talking about the jump, it is significant. It's life-changing. It just brought the actual sound of the Sennheiser out. Rather than having to like artificially EQ it and try to alter the sound or try to artificially push the gain up to make it match the Cloud ribbon, which we're going to get to in a second. But it really brought the natural real life sound. I felt like I was in the room listening to the amp rather than just in the control room listening to it through the recordings. So I have to say the Cloud Lifter Mini is the perfect way to achieve that real life sound out of any mic. So I had the pleasure of just recording and engineering with the Cloud 44 Midnight, and I have to say this is one hell of a mic. I mean, to start just from how sensitive it is. I mean, in comparison to the Sennheiser, which we also have on the Amp 2, it sounds so good. When you talk about how full the tone comes from, it comes from that ribbon. You can really hear the difference in the way it's mic'd, the difference in the angle it attacks the amp completely changes it. I actually did not have to use any EQ at all. I just got to sit back and relax for once. I got to let the amp sound like the amp. It felt like I was in the room with the amp. It felt like I was at a show, in the crowd, vibing. So in terms of what that microphone can do, in fact, it's right here right now. In terms of what this microphone can do, it's gonna make your guitar sound real. It's gonna make you feel like you're in the room with it.
When you can hear it in the studio, playback, it's much more clear, it's much more fuller, and it just definitely gives the amp much more body. Like, we usually have to like worry about like pedals or always like shifting knobs and stuff, trying to get that fat tone. But with this mic, you just plug that baby in, and that's all you need.
It was cool hearing back the tones when we were listening back to the track that Ethan just recorded, just so we could listen to it. And I noticed the guitar tone and guitar sound was very punchy, and it definitely cut through. I'm very excited to use this new Cloud 44 Midnight to experiment and get some cool drum sounds.
I could definitely, 100% say that we're going to use this gear and we're just going to keep moving forward with this stuff and keep learning and just trying new stuff out. And, big shout out to Cloud. And we're very thankful for you guys bringing this gear over and letting us try it out.